This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 5, Episode 20. Brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington across all YouTube and social media channels. And I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things sports and life in Washington as part of the mighty Hogstein Network on audio and, of course, here YouTube on video. All right, I was just waiting for Ron Rivera to talk, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything happened Monday afternoon.
It's not like we didn't have anything to talk about today, and then now Ron threw gasoline on a bonfire. I mean, it's crazy.
So the Washington football team's trainer, Ryan Vermillion, who came last year with Rivera, is being investigated by federal authorities about something separate from his Washington football team duties. What does that mean? I don't know, except the team put out a statement that just said, doesn't have anything to do with us. So whatever this dude's doing, he's doing on his own. Okay, I have to leave it at that. And you always want to say, why is it this team? Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that this time. This is one guy who works for the team. Doesn't mean the team's involved in it. Right. But they had to put him on leave for now. Losing your trainer, now they have assistant trainers and they have team doctors and they'll work it out. It's not a calamity. It's not like losing your quarterback. But still, it's just, man, this team sometimes has the weirdest stories come out on it.
Well, and the funny thing was in the past, I mean, we've had all those issues. If you think back to Trent Williams and, all the issues with the trainers, this guy was supposed to come in here and stabilize that because he was a Ron guy, and he was a highly regarded trainer, around the league. And then to have this is weird. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's not what we were talking about before the show. We'll not go over that right now until facts come out, but it's just another thing, we were all geared up to sit here and talk about the defense and them, allowing 30 points a game. And, now it's just another thing. And then, I know we're going to get to the injuries, but it's just another thing that this team, there is a dark cloud following this team. I can't help but say that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm going to retire eventually and then things will get better. I had a friend who covered the Falcons for 17 years. They were awful. He retires. They go to the Super Bowl next year. I'm just being spiteful and not leaving yet.
It's because you have the same last name as the owner, but you spell it differently.
I spell it right. His money, he learned how to spell better, but whatever. So, yeah, but this is Rivera's guy. They worked together in Carolina a long time. And Ron just simply said over and over, I refer to the statement, which is a one sentence thing that says, nothing to do with us. So, and this is all legalities and stuff. You can't just talk about stuff.
Right.
So I don't know what he knows anyway. He probably doesn't know much at all. But it is one of those weird things. And of course, all the news today on injuries is pretty much bad. They lost Bostic to a torn pec. You can't play with a torn pec. So he's out for the year. McTire is also out with an ACL. One thing I'll say is the defense is so bad. Could it really be worse losing people?
And I mean, look at it this way, Rick. Look at it last year when this defense was a top 5 defense. They did not have all their starters. I mean, we had guys like Cam Curl step up when Collins went out. I mean, they had a lot of guys step up, from the practice squad and stuff like that. I think the McTire one kind of hurts a little bit more just because you cut Jimmy Moreland and he was picked up by Houston. If you still had a Jimmy Moreland, maybe McTire would have been on practice squad, or, you could have had a Moreland step into his role. And it sucks for McTire too, because, he had a terrible pass interference call against him. I didn't understand that when he grabbed a little bit, but they were jockeying for the ball. But for him to tear his ACL in the last play of the game, saving the touchdown, he probably just landed wrong or fell on a leg or something like that. But it sucks for that kid. He had a lot of promise in the preseason.
Yeah, so Khaleke Hudson will get to play a lot more linebacker I think Jamin Davis, they said, is going to get more snaps. Well, he should. He's a first-round pick. And you're down to, Cole, Holcomb. And they talked about how great they thought Cole was playing. And I would disagree with that a little bit. I didn't think he played that great. I don't think anybody played that great. This defense has just stunk the whole time. I mean, there's no way around it. Atlanta, Ryan just threw the ball around on them all the time. They made receivers look like, all pros.
Well, this is 2 weeks in a row that they've let guys predominantly known in their career as kick returners. You had Emmanuel Sanders last week with Buffalo. Now you have Cordero Patterson this year. Those guys have been, pretty much known for their kick returning duties throughout their careers. Just let them burn. Both of those guys burnt them. Sanders had 2. Patterson had 3. I mean, I don't know who on the Saints is a veteran kick returner wide receiver, but whoever it is, pick him in fantasy next week.
I mean, one of those touchdowns, there wasn't a player within 25 yards of
the 40-some yard bomb or whatever. No, he was wide open.
He literally walked into the end zone. He was so far away from anybody. And you can't blame Josh Norman anymore for this stuff. So,
the fans' new target is William Jackson.
Yeah, who's not played very well.
He has not played well since he came from Cincinnati.
And neither is Fuller. I think it's very well.
Fuller did have a good game yesterday towards the end of the game because he had a couple nice batted balls on that last drive. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the elephant in the room. That Chase Young roughing the passer penalty. The NFL, if they don't do something about that when they review the referees, that is ridiculous. Now, I understand he should have wrapped him up, but then you know what? He would have got a penalty for driving him to the ground. It's just something. It's something. The forearm, I get the forearm. You're not, but if you looked at that, and they did, because they were checking to see the interception and other things, and then came back and threw the flag, you could see that the forearm never hit it hits him in the chest. He never hit his neck. He never hit his face.
No, he got part of the helmet on that. He got helmet in the neck. You should have tackled him. And I agree that maybe they would have hit him with a late hit thing. I don't know. But I thought it was a lazy play by Chase.
I do too.
And I see Chase being a step behind some things where he's not going as hard as he would have. He's got to, for a guy yelling at everybody else, do your job. Chase, do your job. This whole team is built on that front four. They're not doing their job. And so everybody else looks very ordinary. Mm-hmm. And that's not going to get better until the front four do better. And the other thing, they asked Rivera, the defense has given up a score on the opening drive all 4 games. If you win the coin toss, are you going to change? And he goes, no, I like it the way it goes. How about grabbing the ball first and maybe scoring first? Because you're not stopping anybody. Not stopping anybody on third downs. Yesterday was the same thing as it's been the other games. They just had to be lucky that they had a quarterback that's just crazy enough to think he can win all these games and help them out. But man, I just can't believe this defense. Looking at injuries also on the offense, a couple ones. Brandon Sheriff sprained his MCL. That's usually 2 to 4. And he'll be there. So Schweitzer's going to play there.
Shocker. He's hurt again. Shocker. No wonder they're not going to sign him long term.
And then Logan Thomas is week to week. That really hurt them against Atlanta.
Yeah, it did.
Seals Jones is an okay player, but you can't ask him to do too much.
Seals Jones is a veteran. He's bounced around to a couple different teams. I remember him with the Cardinals. And then, John Bates is a rookie, more known for his pass blocking. But, hey, Rick, there's going to be a lot of hype.
That's right.
Sammis Reyes is playing against the Saints, man.
Right, man. Drum roll, please, or the Chilean national anthem, whatever works. Hey, we're going to get more clicks when I put his name out there. Whenever I've done videos, Rick Snyder's Washington on Twitter and YouTube and all them, and I do something with Sammis Reyes, he'll get 4 times the clicks of anybody else back in August.
He's got a foreign market. I guarantee you look at your analytics, and some of it's probably from Chile.
I don't know. It's really funny how popular he is. Has not played yet this season because they didn't expect him to play this season. But he's going to be active, and Rivera says he is going to play some. Probably in blocking. Maybe they throw him a ball.
Oh, I'd love Heineke would. Heineke will throw him a ball.
Yeah, I'm sure. So he's going to get a chance. But
now, let me ask you this. This isn't on our rundown, but I've been thinking about this since yesterday. Obviously, Chase Young is our marketable player. He's on ESPN. He's on the commercials for Monday Night Football. Like he's on everything. But the undoubtable superstar on this team has to be Terry McLaurin, right?
Yeah. He caught that dying duck for a touchdown.
Oh my God, that thing sat in the air for 20 minutes. It felt like.
Yeah, and yet he got it. And
yeah,
Terry's their best player. I mean,
he's a good dude. He's quiet. He goes in there. He does his job. He's a locker room leader from everything we've heard. I feel like that's the guy you need to market. I understand Chase was the number 2 overall pick, and he's the big guy with dreadlocks and, a bomb player at Ohio State. But man, I don't know. There's something I'm more gravitating towards Terry as far as leadership goes for this team.
I tell you, when you saw the J.D. McKissick touchdown, they didn't have a good camera angle for it over the pylon, which surprised me because there's cameras by the pylon. Mm-hmm. I couldn't see him in bounds on anything, but I didn't have the right camera angles. I thought, really? You're giving him that to touchdown? That was so close. That was a hell of a play. People were like, you should have dived lower. Hey, I'm not going to hit on the guy, man. That's such a bang, bang thing. He got there.
I tell you what, I tweeted this yesterday. That's the one big whiff that I think Pete Carroll wishes he could have back, because when he played in Seattle, I mean, sure, maybe, things clicked from then to now, but man, I tell you, this offense is made for him. And I love Antonio Gibson, don't get me wrong, but I do need to see more of McKissick. That guy is just dynamic whenever he gets his hands on the ball.
And then Curtis Samuel came back and he caught, I think, 4. He did his job. He showed you what he can do, and he'll get more as he gets healthier.
Yeah.
That's a good plus for him.
Yeah, they said he was on a pitch count yesterday, so he didn't really get to play that much. But, who was it went down? One of the receivers went down yesterday for a little while.
Cam Sims went down.
No, De'Ami Brown and Cam Sims both went down. You've got Kelvin Harmon. You can call him up, but I do hope that they're going to start incorporating Curtis Samuel a lot more too.
I think they will. Yeah, and of course, Taylor Heineke's just crazy enough to think he can win these games. He's a baller, man. I love
dude. Yeah, that dude. Hey, you know what? It just proves preseason camp. None of it matters with this kid, because as soon as the lights are on, he's a different dude. But let me ask you one question before we get out of here. Do they sign a linebacker?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ron wouldn't say that because you're competing for other people, but who are you going to get? I mean, there's no Lawrence Taylor just sitting there waiting for the money.
Well, that's what I was at. That's kind of the second part of my question. Obviously, they can go sign somebody off the street. I get it. Do they make a trade? There's a couple linebackers I've heard rumblings about that want out and that their team is kind of done with. Would you make a trade for somebody?
It's worth looking at. They don't seem to like to do trades.
That was going to be my third part, I guess. Washington doesn't like to give up draft picks.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know who you have here. You want to give up for a linebacker who's only going to have so much impact at this point. When you're 4 games in, you got to learn your system. I don't know. The play calling I didn't particularly like. Maybe we could trade for a defensive coordinator. That might be better. All right, so now I'm in trouble. Anyway, we're out of here. I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.